Hey everyone, it's Steve from ThunderStash Gaming, and today I've got something wild to share with you. I got to experience Cyberpunk 2077 and the Phantom Liberty DLC on the Nintendo Switch 2. Yes, you heard that right. The full game is indeed on the cart plus DLC for just $70. Now, considering the DLC alone costs $30, you're really getting your money's worth here.
Like the price, so $69.99 USD. Yeah. And it comes on the, it's like full package. So it's the base game, the expansion, so everything. 64 gigabytes, everything is in there, for the start. Comes out on your trip, they got
But what's even crazier, this is a 7-week build of the game for the Switch 2, and I'm going to give you my first impressions after playing it. I also had a chance to chat briefly with Radek Grabowski, the global PR director at CD Projekt Red for Cyberpunk and the Witcher series, and I asked him if this was indeed the 7-week build, and he confirmed that it was, and that it's coming on a 64 gigabyte cart. He was there intently watching and making sure everything went smoothly while observing event attendees, which really shows how dedicated they are at CD Projekt Red to getting this right, and I appreciate that. So grab a drink, sit back, and let's dive into this incredible first look at Cyberpunk 2077 on the Nintendo Switch 2. Cyberpunk 2077, developed by the team at CD Projekt Red, released back in 2020, was a highly anticipated open-world RPG. Set in the dystopian Night City, you take on the role of V, a mercenary caught up in the high-tech, neon-lit chaos of a world teetering on the edge of collapse. What makes this game stand out is the depth of choice. It's an RPG where your decisions matter and every action impacts the world around you, and I love games like this. First game I experienced like this was Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, and that was one of my favorite RPGs growing up, and I'm still very fond of it. So whether you're engaging in high-speed gunfights, hacking into systems, or even making moral choices about who lives or dies, Cyberpunk offers a truly immersive experience. Fast forward now to 2023, and the Phantom Liberty DLC drops, adding even more content to an already massive game. The DLC introduces new characters, a fresh storyline, and a new district to explore in Night City. It's packed with espionage, tension, and a gripping narrative. But the big question today is, how does it all work on the Nintendo Switch 2? Now, let's get into the gameplay. Cyberpunk's core mechanics are what really make it shine. Whether you're exploring the open world, engaging in high-octane shootouts, or stealthily sneaking through missions, the game offers multiple ways to play. You can go all in on combat, using hacking skills to disable security systems, or even talk your way out of dangerous situations. The level of freedom is what keeps the game fresh. One of the standout gameplay mechanics is the combat system. Whether you're wielding high-tech weapons or engaging in close quarters combat, everything feels satisfying. The upgrades and augmentations you can equip on V are also super fun to play around with, and they offer different combat styles depending on how you build your character. The hacking system too is top-notch. It allows you to manipulate the environment, mess with enemies, and even take control of certain devices, and I actually got to do that in the demo. That's always a good time. The controls on the Switch 2 felt responsive, whether I was aiming, switching weapons, or hacking into terminals. Everything felt smooth and precise. Given the complexity of the game, I was impressed by how well it translated to the Switch 2's controls. It felt like a true console experience rather than a watered down version, which of course sometimes did happen on Switch 1. Now let's talk about how this game looks on the Switch 2. If you've seen Cyberpunk 2077 on other platforms, you know it's a beautiful game. From the neon lights of Night City to the intricately detailed characters, the art style is one of its strongest features. On the Switch 2, in docked mode, it runs at a solid 40 frames per second with VRR, variable refresh rate, and let me tell you, it looks stunning. The visuals are crisp, the world feels alive, and you can tell CD Projekt Red put a lot of effort into optimizing it for this new hardware. Now, I didn't get a chance to play in handheld mode during the event, but I've heard from others that it runs at 30 frames per second in handheld mode. Now, considering the demanding nature of the game and the fact that this is a 7-week build, that's extremely impressive. What really did also impress me was how well the art style translated to the Switch 2. The vibrant neon lights, which you guys can see in the video of Night City, the rain-soaked streets, and the bustling city crowds were all preserved beautifully. The HDR, you can tell, is really working nicely so far on the Switch 2. Like, these are very bright, vibrant colors. Now, I played the game on other systems like PS5, and I can confidently say that this version is, it's not on par with PS5, but it's totally worthy of being a completely playable game, right? There were certain ports that came to Switch 1 that, you know, like if this is the only way you can play it kind of scenario, I would say that this is not that scenario. Like this version is good. I'm probably going to pick it up. That's how good it is. And again, just the fact that this is a 7-week build, like how's it gonna look when the game launches? How's it gonna look after it's had a patch or two? I mean, I think it's only gonna get better from here, right? Cyberpunk's music is one of its most memorable elements. The soundtrack is packed with high-energy synthwave tracks that really get your blood pumping during intense firefights. Then there are moments where you just want to soak in the world, and the ambient music complements that perfectly. The atmospheric sound design really adds to the game's immersion. When you're walking through the neon-lit streets of Night City, you can hear the hum of the city, the chatter of NPCs, and the distant sound of traffic. It's like a living, breathing Blade Runner world, and I love it because I love that movie, and it just feels like you're actually living in it. It's special. They did a great job with the atmosphere. And hey, even when like you're in the middle of an intense shootout, this soundtrack ramps up, making you feel like you are in the middle of an action movie. On the flip side though, when you're engaging in quieter moments or exploring, the music takes a backseat and really lets the environment shine. I think the soundtrack really helps set the tone for what Cyberpunk is all about, a chaotic yet captivating world. So what about the story? Cyberpunk is a narrative-driven RPG with a complex story. You play as V, a mercenary in Night City, which is a sprawling metropolis ruled by corporate greed and dangerous street gangs. Early on, you're thrust into the world of Johnny Silverhand, aka Keanu, a rockstar rebel who's dead but somehow still living in your head through a biochip. And that's just the beginning. The main storyline deals with themes of identity, power, and the consequences of technology, all like very real stuff. The world building is deep, and the side stories are just as engaging as the main plot. And I played through the demo. I found myself drawn into the world of Night City on Switch 2, wanting to learn more about the people, factions, and events shaping the world around me. The choices you make along the way really matter, and they shape the course of your journey. It's the kind of game that invites you to lose yourself in its world. So, from what I can see on Switch 2, again, this game looks great, guys. If you've never played it and you want to play Cyberpunk, this is a perfectly suitable way to play it. This isn't like The Witcher on Switch 2, which was, again, a technical achievement. It was one of those coined impossible ports. This isn't like an impossible port. This is totally runnable on Switch 2. Actually, it runs great. It runs better than it does on Steam Deck. And it's been on Steam Deck for 2 years, right? So again, this is a 7-week build, and what I played, I would buy today. I think that says a lot. One of my personal highlights of this experience was just the fact that I was playing Cyberpunk on a portable system like the Switch 2. It's mind-blowing. The game is known for its massive open world and complex mechanics, but here I was playing it on a handheld console, even though it was in docked mode. The fact that it runs, though, as smoothly as it does, whether docked or in handheld, is something that I wouldn't say I didn't expect, but it's something that impresses me, right? Of course, no game is perfect. My only concern so far is the potential for maybe some frame rate dips in handheld mode, but honestly, that's something I'll have to test more thoroughly when I get my hands on the full version. That said, in docked mode, the experience was rock solid. It runs great at 40 frames per second. Now, to wrap things up, if you're someone who hasn't played Cyberpunk 2077 yet, or if you're looking to experience it again on the go, this port to the Switch 2 is definitely worth your attention. It's not a watered down version of the game. It is a solid, rock solid port that runs smoothly and captures the essence of the original. And with the addition of the Phantom Liberty DLC, you're getting a whole lot of content for your money. So from what I can tell, the Switch 2 version of Cyberpunk seems to be a far superior experience compared to the Steam Deck and the Series S. I had so much fun playing it. I'm even thinking about buying it again to play it on the go. This is one of those games that feels like it was made for the Switch 2, and I can only imagine how great it's going to look on the Switch 2's awesome LCD screen. So I can't wait to dive deeper into it and bring you my full review once the Switch 2 has come out and give you a full rundown on the performance. All right, so what do you think? Have you had a chance to try Cyberpunk 2077 on any of the other consoles, or are you planning on getting it for the Switch 2 at launch? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear what you think. And remember, this is coming out on launch day on Switch 2. The full game is going to be on the card. It's a 64 gigabyte Nintendo Switch 2 game card. The full game's on there, including the DLC, and it's going to be $70. So again, you're paying like $40 for the base game and $30 for the DLC that I just mentioned earlier that never goes on sale. To me, that sounds like a solid deal. Also, if you enjoyed this first look at Cyberpunk on the Switch 2, make sure to check out my other hands-on impressions from the Nintendo Switch 2 experience. I've got plenty more videos on games like Metroid Prime 4, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, not to mention Hades 2, and so much more. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're excited about these hands-on impressions. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future reviews and gameplay from me. There's a lot more to come, including my full reviews and breakdowns of all the games I played at the Switch 2 event. Thank you for watching, and as always, remember, you're never too old to play video games.